Hi everyone, so my name is Nicole Zavorsky, and for my impromptu speech, I'm going to talk about my time in one of the clubs that I was in when I went to school at the University at Albany. So I went to the University at Albany from 2016 to 2020, and during my sophomore year there, I decided to get involved in one of the clubs, and it was called Albany's Outreach for Animals. So basically what the club was is they made, toys and blankets for animal shelters. They volunteered at pet stores. They volunteered on like animal sanctuaries with a bunch of rescued animals from, farms and circuses and stuff like that. So I was a member of that club my sophomore year. And then towards the end of my sophomore year, when it was time for elections, I decided to run for secretary. So the role of secretary was keeping notes about what was talked about at each meeting, just to keep track, and also they were in charge of making the calendar, not making up the actual activities and stuff, but just putting it all into the calendar. And they were also in charge of sending out all of the emails. And being a very organized and detail-oriented person, I really liked the idea of being in charge of all of that stuff. So I ran for that, and I got the position, which was not very difficult because I was the only person that ran for secretary. And so I did that for my junior year, and I really liked being involved in the club in that way. And then towards the end of that year, the president of the club was graduating, so the role of the president was open, and I decided to run for it. And my friend, who was the treasurer my junior year, decided to run for vice president. So I ran for president and I got the role of president, which was very exciting, but definitely it was a lot more work than just being the secretary. The president, which I didn't really know, had to go to a lot of meetings, a lot of board meetings, budget meetings for the whole school. So not just my club, but the school had all of their funds for all of the different academic programs. So it was meetings and stuff to go to learn how to budget the money that you're gonna get, and to learn how to figure out how much money to ask for your club. So there was definitely a lot more finance and business aspects that were involved in being the president, which I wasn't too big of a fan of, but it is what it is. But my favorite part of being president was running all of the meetings, being in charge of what we did, whether it was making toys or just watching educational documentaries, or even if it was just trying all different types of vegetarian and vegan foods in the area, because I actually worked at one of the vegan restaurants in Albany at the time. So it was really cool to be able to bring in food from my work to have everybody try and try new things. But I really liked being able to plan that all out, run the meetings, have all these ideas, and be able to express all those ideas that I had in the club. So I'm really grateful that I was able to do that, because unfortunately my senior year of college, got cut short because of COVID-19. So I was only the president for about 3/4 of the year. But I'm really glad that I was able to do it at all, because I had a lot of fun and I made a lot of friends, and I had a really good committee through the club. So even the harder and more boring finance parts of everything, it was still a really fun experience to be a part of. So I'm really glad that I was able to do that, because I also, not even just for something to put on my resume, which is why a lot of people join clubs, but it was fun to be able to feel that I was helping, and just be a part of doing something good like that. So yeah, thank you for listening.